In 1960, Bucky settled down to teach in Carbondale, Illinois, and built himself one of those dome houses. It took just 7 hours to put up.
There once was a square with a romantic flair, pure Beaux-Arts, Kimmies and white.
Everything, including the language that we're speaking with right now, the vehicle in which this language is getting delivered through the internet, all of this came from the imagination.
Right.
Everything. This table came from the imagination.
Sure, everything.
The arm that holds this microphone. Someone thought this shit up, and then all of a sudden it manifested itself in a physical form when they actively created it. That seems so normal to us. It seems so normal. But we're the only fucking animal in the world we know that can do this.
The centerpiece of the new Disney World in Florida is a magnificent soaring dome. You've seen the domes in lots of places, sometimes grand structures, sometimes small backyard tents for the kids. But did you know that behind the dome is a whole philosophy, a way of looking at the world? And behind the philosophy is one man who has spent a lifetime helping people do more with less. This is R. Buckminster Fuller, known around the world as Bucky. Now almost 90, Bucky Fuller is a cult figure to some. He's been called the Earth's friendly genius, while many folks have never heard of him. He has one of the longest entries in Who's Who, listing him as architect, writer, poet, mathematician, inventor, artist, and more. He coined the phrase Spaceship Earth, but his purpose has never been seeking fortune or fame. Using his triangles and aircraft struts, he developed the architecture for the only structures on Earth that actually get stronger as they get larger. Through time-lapse photography, here is a dome in Hawaii that was put up in less than a day. By the 24th hour, a symphony was playing inside. Today, domes dot the Earth.
When it was completed in October 1958, the Union Tank car dome was 120 feet tall and spanned 384 feet. It was the largest clear-span structure in the world.
In some ways, this dome was a structure on par with things like the Brooklyn Bridge and the Eiffel Tower. It's on par with those kinds of innovation. But the problem is that all of those were built for expositions, and they were built to be meaningful. Not only did they have crowds, but they were built in prominent places, and they were built to be harbingers of the future, to be symbols of what technology could do for us.
To go back to the beginning, 1965, at the time that Expo 67 became an idea in the Canadian mind, I was with the United States Information Agency as one of their design directors. One of my first jobs was to select architects and interior designers working together at the very outset. We came up with the combination of Buckminster Fuller and the Cambridge 7.
The form, the three-quarter sphere, this great envelope coming to the ground in that way, was developed by Cambridge 7. From then on, Buckminster Fuller and his group developed the details of how that enormous three-quarter dome was to be accomplished. That's what happened. Dealing with a volume of space, some 2 million cubic feet. Space large enough to take the whole of Lever House and place it in there and it wouldn't touch anything.
The thing we wanted to do was to celebrate the space itself in the design. We tried to show the other side, the tender side, the creative side, the improvisation, the experimentation. All those things that create what America really is.
For the first time, we were able to go to artists and say to them, what would you do if you had unlimited space? Do you want to do a 100-foot high painting? Love it.
And the main advantage of the World's Fair situation is that there is no need, in fact, the opposite is really required, to develop any given subject in depth. It's by its very nature more superficial, more impressionistic, more playful.
It was just the sense of being there. It was that sense of the spirit of it and the overall feeling and view of it that was the most memorable thing.
There was an excitement that I have to say I've never seen since or before. And I've done a lot of exhibitions that I've been proud of, but I've never been so affected by a space as I have by the interior of the U.S. Pavilion.